Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for this watch, every watch on the channel, and every watch on our website. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a Baselworld 2018 launch. This is the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Grande, a timepiece with a grand date. It is a timepiece that is also titanium, satin finished, lighter and more wearable than the traditional 50-15. Technically, this is reference 50-50. 45 millimeters in diameter, the watch is 16.4 millimeters thick. It is 50.6 millimeters lug-to-lug, which is fairly short for a watch of this size, and then 23 millimeters between the lugs. Note that the strap is fixed to the case using hex screws and bars, much more secure than a spring bar setup. Throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and the Grande Date is a lovely watch on the wrist. Easy to wear because it's titanium and light across the wrist. It's also short across the wrist thanks to stubby, sharply downturned and short cropped lugs that allow this 45 to wear more like a 41 or a 42. So smaller wrists down to 14 centimeters circumference, batter up, this is viable. Now let's take a quick look at the hardware and the software. The strap itself is gray. It is textile sailcloth, so almost impossible to tear, with a folded edge and a lightly contrasting gray stitch. There is vulcanized rubber on the underside, and you can see this is a new Blancpain factory strap, so that rubber is supple and soft against the wrist, even as the sailcloth is almost indestructible. A matching satin finished, highly customized, model-specific pin buckle, and then I mentioned satin finish, whereas the standard 50-15 is bright polished and steel. This vertically satin finished titanium is a different look. You still have that sharp break between lug and case profile that sets it apart from the mass of dive watches, and you still have that nostalgic oversized crown, but now it doesn't quite reflect light. It has perhaps a bit more discretion, and some might say a better sense of good taste about it. Now the bezel is sharp and positive, and I know you're going to want to hear the detent, so let's have a listen. 120 clicks, and as ever with this modern generation of 50 Fathoms, you have a cambered sapphire, not flat, cambered, that looks like a giant donut-shaped dewdrop on top of your bezel. As a result, you have a fully loomed bezel because the sapphire shields the paint from scratches. The dial features an inner disc and an outer track for the applique indices and numerals of the hour track. So you have a lovely three-dimensional dial with the addition of a large date. The Grande Date, down at 6 o'clock, is double digit, and a lot of folks say this is what it should have been from the beginning. Some folks are not hip to the small date on the 50-15, but the 50-50 gives you a little bit more of a sense of balance to the dial as it replaces an index. It anchors the dial down at 6 o'clock, and it gives you a tiny piece of horological theater as the quickset on a double-digit date almost feels like a complication in its own right. Now the watch, of course, has that quickset function. It also has hacking seconds, and we're going to turn this watch over, and you're going to see there is a new derivative of the caliber 13-15. This right here is the 6918B, adjusted in a chronometer busting 6 positions rather than the COSC's standard 5. It pivots on 44 joules compared to 35 for the standard 13-15. A silicone hairspring allows a display case back that you won't see on the standard watch. Anti-magnetic, it no longer needs the soft iron cage, so you can see the movement. Free sprung for shock resistance. It beats away at a modern standard 28,800 vibrations per hour. We have a double finished satin and media blasted 18 karat blackened winding mass, 3 mainspring barrels, automatic winding, giving the watch a 120-hour or 5-day power reserve. These watches are known to run +1 to +3 per day. Better than chronometers in almost every respect. 300 meters water resistant, as a dive watch should be. You can see the breadth of these bevels, which are mirrored and enormous to the point that you don't even need a loop to appreciate them. All screw heads are black polished, and you can see there is a sort of satin spiral finish across the bridges rather than the rote Côte de Genève. Now there is engine turning on the base plate, and all of the wheels feature a satin finish. So this is true haute de gamme dive watch finish, as good as anything you'll find from neighboring haute de gamme dive watch manufacturer Audemars Piguet. Give me a choice between the two, and I don't have to think. It would be this by a mile. Email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, if you're interested in owning the grandest of the 50 Fathoms. And we are back with the 50 Fathoms Grande Date by night, and you can see that fully loomed bezel.